I'll break the fire in just a few moments.
President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation. Please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service. on behalf of the DSOs and recipients now.
Thank you.
I stand before you today humbled by the giant shoes I am attempting to fill. My father-in-law, Tom Landy, was the master of ceremonies at every event I have attended with him over the past 25 years. This included delivering multiple, impactful eulogies. Dad would spend hours researching and rehearsing and would come fully prepared with his white binder in hand. My father-in-law was grand in all he did, and his presence filled the room. When Stuart and I started dating, I marveled at how Tom made everything feel special and magical and larger than life. Birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries were filled with toasts, special recognitions, Leon Redbone blaring in the background, grand barbecues, and always chilled champagne. He could on the spot give the most eloquent speech. No holiday or birthday or wedding will be quite the same for me as a result. Tom was also grand in intellect. He was a savvy business person and historian. He was an avid reader and world traveler. He was never boastful, however, with his knowledge or his adventures. Tom was sensitive and approachable. He was an educator by nature. To keep his mind engaged during retirement, Dad took classes through Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at ASU. He traveled to Belize to work with elementary students through this program just 1 year ago. The director of the program, Richard, shared that Dad was one of the most sensitive, caring, brilliant, and giving men he had ever met. He said, "I looked up to Tom as my personal inspiration. He walked with such integrity during our Belize experience and always thought about others before himself. The children loved him as everyone does, flocking around him and calling him Mr. Tom. He represented everything we want the Osher community to be, selflessly oriented to the success of others, a boundless curiosity, and a love of life." Thank you, Richard, for those kind words and your condolences. Tom was a true patriot, a Vietnam veteran. He served as Post 9400 commander for Sunny Slope VFW in Arizona. He enjoyed going with other vets to the gun range. Tom volunteered at the VA hospital in Phoenix, playing games with the infirmed and providing companionship. No eulogy would be complete if I didn't share what Tom was not good at. Dad was not a fixer. If something was broken, his technique was to slam, punch, or pull harder, followed by another slam. Stu shared with me when we bought our first house his father's instruction on home repairs. "Son, you want to know how to fix something? You take out the yellow pages and call and pay someone who knows what the blank they are doing." When Dad came to stay with us 7 years ago while Stu was being diagnosed with cancer, Tom was on point with all of the physicians. He had the latest technology to tape all the consultations so we could replay them at home. But ask him to trim the bushes, well, he met his match. He insisted while working in his socks it was a blown fuse, a broken trimmer, replaced with a brand new trimmer, that magically broke within 5 minutes of being home. Further investigation by me revealed that Dad had been cutting through all of our extension cords. Dad was not a fixer. Dad was also not a good driver or a maintainer of vehicles. Driving most of his adult life in Chicago, he brought the extremely aggressive braking with him when he moved to Arizona. Stu once told him to put his signal on to get over, and Dad replied, "Nope, I don't want them, let them know where I'm going." When Stu and Christian lived in Colorado, we planned one Christmas in the Breckenridge Mountains. Being an adventurer, Dad was all for Christmas at 9,000 feet and drove with Mom from Arizona. Unfortunately, on the way home, Dad destroyed the engine of the Jeep. Apparently, cars need oil and oil changes. Who knew? It was a long and quiet tow truck drive from Gallup, New Mexico, back to Arizona. So Dad was grand in gestures, in intellect, in service to others, and he was not a fixer or mechanic. Above all those things was my father-in-law's love for his family. Beth shared that in second grade, she recalls Santa visiting her class. She shared, "One by one, the kids climbed Santa's lap. When it was my turn, I told Santa all I wanted, and when I started to get off his lap, he had a special message for me. Instead of the Merry Christmas message that all the others received, Santa looked me in the eye and said with a smile, "Be nice to your big brother." Up until that moment, I had no clue it was Tommy behind the beard. Tom took Beth to father-daughter dances, standing in for their dad. She recalled several girls wanting to know whose father he was because he was so young and handsome. Beth shares, "I really cannot recall a cross word that ever passed between us. As a big brother, he was non-judgmental, thoughtful, and encouraging. He would playfully tease with a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye." Michelle remembers Tom as a good big brother. She recalled a rare occasion that he didn't want to go to school. He spent the day cleaning out his closet, which was even rarer. By the end of the day, he sheepishly confessed that he had made a trade for a snake. The snake, which had been secured in a shoebox without a top, was now loose in the house. All household beds were checked nightly for months. Beth was still in a crib. The snake finally made an appearance months later on a Friday night, which I am told makes for a whole nother story. His sons, Stuart and Christian, are his legacy. There isn't anything he wouldn't have done for them. There are countless stories of their times together, and they lovingly grew even closer as they aged. But Morgan, Addison, and Emily made him Grandpa or Papa. Dad was a magnificent grandfather. You want a horseback ride in the mountains? Yes. You want to swim at 10 p.m.? Yes. Another board game? Yes. The state fair, parades, lacrosse tournaments, swim meets, outlet shopping, Topgolf, sleepovers, donuts, rides to Sedona, shopping in Nogales. Yes, yes, and yes. Dad was always ready with his hiking boots and his wide-brimmed hat or Skechers shoes and veteran baseball cap without a complaint. Dad let his girls play in his office with his collections from around the world. They dressed in his Mardi Gras beads, rang his historic bell, dirtied up his desk and his prized pieces, and he loved every single second of it. And Tom's true love, Mom. Anita was the love of my father's life for 54 years. Letters written by Tom and Anita while he was in basic training are a testament to his early love. On April 22nd, 1969, Dad writes, "Well, happy birthday. See, I didn't forget the birthday of the girl I love with all my heart. I have got to be the luckiest guy in the world to love a girl like you. You're really understanding and comforting, someone I can tell my troubles to. I miss you a whole lot and love you even more." Michelle shared that Tom came into himself and developed a confidence about him when he met Anita. They were best friends and always will be. As my mom's boss shared with her in an email, "You are very blessed to have a husband who has cared and loved for you all these years. I promise you that that relationship continues into the next life, and you can be assured he is praying for you at this very moment." The beautiful thing about my father is that he lives on. I hear him and Stu when he talks in three-word phrases like good, 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 or yup, yup, yup. Or in Stu's dramatic arm gestures, his love of people, and his socializing and storytelling. He lives on in Christian in his careful analytics, his business sense and intellect, and his calm and sensitive care of Mom and her affairs. He's Emily's curiosity and her many collections. He's Addison's wit and dry humor and her love of travel. He's Morgan's determination. Dad's presence is in every corner of the house and yard in Arizona. You can feel him everywhere. He is in every part of our hearts, and that will never change. Blessed are your poor, for the kingdom shall be theirs. Blessed are you that weep and mourn, for one day you shall laugh. And if wicked men insult and hate you, all because of me, blessed, blessed are you. Be not afraid. I go before you always. Come, follow me, and I shall give you rest.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.